The war zone was silent. Not peaceful. Not calm. It was the kind of silence that comes after great destruction. Broken ships floated slowly in space. Metal parts turned quietly. Faded lights blinked again and again, like dying stars. Far away, a large enemy fleet waited. Hundreds of dark ships stayed in perfect lines. They were big. They were strong. They were confident. Their commander, Lord Krexer, stood on the main bridge. He was tall. His skin was gray. His eyes were cold. He looked at the battle map. "No human ships," he said calmly. His officers nodded. "They are afraid," one officer said. "They will not come." Krexer smiled. "Of course," he replied. "Humans are weak. They know this war is lost." Everyone on the bridge believed him. For months, the enemy had destroyed many planets. Many fleets had fallen. No one could stop them. And now, they were close to Earth's space zone. Victory was near. New moon, a strange signal. Suddenly, a young officer looked at his screen. His face changed. "Commander, we have a signal." Krexer turned slowly. "What kind of signal?" he asked. The officer swallowed. "Unknown energy, far sector, very strong." Krexer laughed quietly. "Another broken ship," he said. "Ignore it." But the officer shook his head. "No, sir, this is different." He pressed a button. A large hologram appeared in the air. It showed empty space. At first, nothing was there. Then, light appeared. Blue light, white light, silver light. It twisted and moved like water. The space itself seemed to open. Everyone stared. "What is that?" someone whispered. Before anyone could answer, boom! Space exploded with light. A huge gate opened, and from it, ships came out. Rocket the human fleet appears. One ship, then 10, then 50, then hundreds. Massive human warships flew into the war zone. They were shining. They were clean. They were powerful. Long metal bodies, bright engines, strong armor. Each ship carried the symbol of Earth, a blue planet with a white star. The human fleet had arrived. Silence filled the enemy bridge. No one spoke. No one moved. They only watched. Lord Krexer slowly stood up. "Impossible," he said. "Humans were not supposed to come. Their last fleet was destroyed months ago. Their cities were burning. Their resources were low. Everyone believed they had surrendered. But now, here they were, stronger than ever. Warning, fear begins." An officer broke the silence. "Commander, scans show more than 500 human ships." Another added, "Energy level extremely high. Weapon systems fully charged." Krexer clenched his fist. "How?" he whispered. This was not part of the plan. This was not expected. He turned to his communication officer. "Contact them," he ordered. "Tell them to leave." The officer sent the message. A few seconds passed. No reply. Again he tried. Still nothing. "They are not answering," he said nervously. On the human flagship, Captain Elias Stone stood quietly. He was a middle-aged man. Short hair, tired eyes, strong face. He looked at the enemy fleet on his screen. So many ships, so many weapons, so much danger. But he did not show fear. Around him, human officers waited. "Captain," one said softly, "they are calling us." Stone shook his head. "No response," he said. "Not yet." "Why, sir?" another asked. Stone looked forward. "Because this is not about words anymore. Milky Way memories of loss." Captain Stone remembered Earth. Burning cities. Crying children. Falling buildings. He remembered the first attack. No warning. No mercy. Millions died. His own family. Gone. Because of this enemy. He closed his eyes for 1 second. Then opened them again. Full of fire. "Today," he said quietly, "we end this." Bomb enemy confidence returns. On the enemy bridge, Lord Krexer took a deep breath. He forced himself to stay calm. "So," he said loudly, "humans are brave enough to die." His officers laughed nervously. "They came to lose," one said. Krexer nodded. "Yes, one last show." He raised his hand. "All weapons," he ordered. "Target human flagship." Screens turned red. Missiles locked. Energy cannons charged. Power moved through the enemy fleet. Like a storm. Fire, Krexer said. Fire first attack. Space shook. Hundreds of bright beams shot forward. Thousands of missiles followed. It looked like a wall of death. On human ships, alarms rang. Incoming fire. Shields up. Defense systems ready. Blue shields covered the human fleet. A glowing wall appeared around each ship. The enemy weapons hit. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions filled space. Light blinded the screens. For a moment, no one could see anything. Then, the smoke cleared. The human ships were still there, shields glowing, some flickering, but standing. Enemy officers gasped. They survived. Krexer frowned. Again, he said, full power. Another wave fired. Stronger, faster, deadlier. This time, the shield shook. They cracked. Lines appeared, like broken glass. Broken heart, the shocking moment. On the human flagship. Captain, an officer shouted. Shield power dropping. Stone watched calmly. Status, he asked. 30%, 2015. Then, shields failing. Crack. The shields collapsed. They vanished like smoke. Human ships were now naked in space. No protection. No cover. Enemy bridge exploded with laughter. They're finished. Attack. They're dead. Krexer smiled widely. So, this is all humanity has, he said. Pathetic. He raised his hand again. Destroy them. Fearful face human fleet in danger. Enemy weapons prepared again. On human ships, fear spread. Some officers looked at each other. Sir, shields are gone. Should we retreat? Stone turned slowly. His voice was calm. Negative. He stood up, walked to the main window, looked at the enemy fleet. They think we are weak, he said. They think we are broken. He turned to his crew. They are wrong. Everyone watched him. We did not come here to hide, he continued. We came here to change history. He pressed a button on his chair. A secret panel opened. Red lights appeared. Unknown systems activated. Phase 2, he said. Shooting star the unexpected turning point. Suddenly, all human ships changed formation. They moved. Fast. Perfect. Like a dance. Enemy scanners went crazy. Commander! An officer shouted. They are moving in strange patterns. Krexer stood up. What are they doing? No one knew. Human ships split into groups. Some went left. Some went right. Some rushed forward. Energy began building inside them. New power. Hidden power. On Captain Stone's screen, a timer appeared. 0:59. 0:58. 0:57. 1 minute. Only 1 minute left. He whispered. Now the real battle begins. Endero End of Part 1, Cliffhanger. The enemy fleet prepared to fire. The human fleet prepared something unknown. Two forces, facing each other. One believed in power. One believed in sacrifice. Space held its breath. And the galaxy was about to learn that humanity still had secrets. The timer continued to count down. 0:45, 0:44, 0:43. Captain Elias Stone stood still. Around him, alarm screamed. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Warning, hull exposed. Enemy weapons charging. Damage risk critical. But Stone did not move. He did not shout. He did not panic. He only watched the screen. The enemy fleet was preparing another massive attack. Hundreds of ships were turning their weapons toward the human fleet. Energy gathered inside their cannons. It looked like a burning storm, ready to destroy everything. Anxious face would sweat fear on human ships. On many human ships, fear was growing. Young officers held their seats tightly. Some whispered prayers. Some closed their eyes. One pilot spoke quietly to his friend. "We are going to die," he said. His friend replied, "Not yet. I think the captain has a plan." But even he was not sure. Without shields, every ship was weak. One strong hit could end everything. Outside, space looked beautiful. Stars were shining. But inside the ships, hearts were heavy. Cross Sword's enemy prepares final blow. On the enemy flagship, Lord Krexer walked slowly across the bridge. His long coat moved behind him. He looked proud. He looked sure. "Look at them," he said. "They are broken. They are scared. They have no defense." An officer smiled. "Shall we finish them, Commander?" Krexer stopped. He looked at the human fleet. So many ships. So quiet. So still. Something felt strange. Too calm. Too organized. But he ignored the feeling. "Yes," he said. "End this war. Fire all weapons," he ordered. "Leave nothing. Firestorm of death." The enemy fleet fired. This time, it was bigger than before. Brighter. Louder. Deadlier. Thousands of beams flew forward. Missiles followed like angry insects. Space itself seemed to scream. On human ships, warnings exploded. Incoming. Massive wave. Impact in 10 seconds. Brace for collision. Some captains shouted orders. Turn left. Boost engines. Full speed. But it was useless. There was nowhere to run. The attack was too wide. Too strong. It would hit everything. Stopwatch the last seconds. On Captain Stone's screen, the timer showed 0:10, 0:09, 0:08. An officer shouted, "Sir, we must do something." Stone finally spoke louder. "Hold position." "But sir—" "Hold," Stone repeated. His voice was firm. Everyone froze. They trusted him. 0:05, 0:04, 0:03. Enemy weapons were now very close. Huge balls of energy, like small suns. 0:02, 0:01. Stone whispered, "Now." High voltage, the secret awakens. Suddenly, all human ships glowed. White light appeared under their armor. Blue lines spread across their bodies. Hidden systems came alive. Inside every ship, old machines started. Machines that no enemy had ever seen. Machines built in secret. For years. For this moment. Quantum core active. Phase barrier online. Mirror field ready. New voices filled the bridge. Strange systems. Unknown power. Before anyone could ask, boom! A wave of light exploded from the human fleet. Like a giant shield. Like a wall of stars. Enemy weapons hit it. And they stopped. They did not explode. They did not break through. They slowed. Then bent. Then turned. They moved away. As the space itself pushed them back. Astonished face enemy shock. On the enemy bridge. What? How? Impossible. Officers jumped from their seats. Screens showed impossible data. Enemy weapons were failing. Not because of damage, but because of space distortion. Their ships are bending energy, one officer shouted. They're reflecting attacks. Krexer stared. His face turned pale. That cannot be, he whispered. Humans were not supposed to have this technology. They were not advanced enough. Not strong enough. Not smart enough. But here it was, right in front of him. Shield the mirror field. Captain Stone watched calmly. The mirror field was active, a hidden defense system. It did not block attacks. It changed them. It twisted energy. It sent it away. Every human ship now had invisible armor, not made of metal, but made of physics. Space itself protected them. Status? Stone asked. Mirror field stable. An officer replied. No damage detected. Stone nodded. Good. Rocket human counter move. Stone raised his hand. Phase 1 complete, he said. Prepare counterstrike. All human ships changed again. They moved closer. Slow. Careful. Like hunters. Weapons charged. But not normal weapons. New weapons. Silent weapons. No bright lights. No loud sounds. Only dark energy. Their systems are strange, an officer said. They're using gravity waves. Dark matter pulses. Time-shifted missiles. Enemy scanners could not understand. They showed errors. Numbers jumped. Screens blinked. No data. Unknown signals. We can't track them. Panic started. Fearful face enemy begins to fall. Krexer shouted, fire again. Break their defense. But his voice was shaking. Enemy ships fired. Again, again, again. But nothing worked. Every attack bent away. Every missile disappeared. Then, human weapons fired. Silent pulses left the ships. They moved like shadows. No light, no sound. They hit enemy ships. And nothing happened. For 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Then, enemy ships collapsed. Not exploded. Collapsed like empty cans. Their metal folded. Their engines died. Their power vanished. Dozens of ships fell. Then hundreds. Collision controlled destruction. Human attacks were careful. Precise. No wasted energy. No random fire. Each shot had a target. Each target was chosen. Command ships. Power centers. Communication hubs. One by one they fell. Enemy formations broke. Ships crashed into each other. Signals stopped. Orders were lost. Chaos spread. Commander, we lost control. Navigation failed. Fleet divided. Krexer grabbed a rail. This cannot be happening. Brainstone's true plan. On the human flagship, an officer asked, "Sir, why didn't we use this before?" Stone answered slowly, "Because this system has a price." Everyone listened. "It uses huge energy," he said. "It shortens ship life. It burns engines. It damages cores. If we use it too early, we would never reach here." He looked at the enemy fleet. "But now it is worth it. Warning human losses. Even with new power, humans were not safe. Some ships were damaged. Some engines overheated. Some systems failed. A small cruiser lost control and drifted. A destroyer exploded from inside. Sacrifice was real. Pain was real. War was never clean." Stone closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. "Remember their names," he said quietly. "They gave us this chance." Pouting faced Krexer's desperation. On the enemy bridge, fear turned into anger. Krexer slammed his fist. "Activate Omega weapon," he shouted. Officers froze. "Sir, that weapon is unstable." "I don't care," he roared. "Use it." A hidden ship behind the fleet moved forward. It was black, huge, covered in strange symbols. Its core began to glow red. Power rose dangerously. "This weapon can destroy everything," an officer whispered. "Even us." Krexer's eyes burned. "Then we die together," he said. "Milky Way new threat appears." Human scanners detected it. "Captain, new energy source. Extreme level." Stone looked. He saw the black ship. He felt danger. Real danger. "That is their last card," he said. "Prepare emergency protocol." "What protocol, sir?" Stone answered. "Phase 3. Everyone went silent. They knew Phase 3. It was a final option. The most dangerous one. Used only once in history. And never tested in full war. Endero and the Part 2 cliffhanger. The enemy's Omega weapon charged. Red light filled space. Human ships prepared Phase 3. 2 final powers. About to clash. One based on rage. One based on sacrifice. The galaxy watched in silence. Because the next minute would decide everything. Space was no longer quiet. It was burning. Red light from the enemy's Omega weapon spread across the battlefield. It looked like a rising sun made of fire. The black enemy ship stood at the center. Its core was shaking. Its body was cracking. Too much power. Too little control. But it kept charging. Ready to destroy everything. Warning, warning on human ships. On every human ship, alarm screamed. Extreme energy detected. Blast radius. Total battlefield. Survival chance low. Officers looked at each other. Some were pale. Some were shaking. Some were silent. Captain Elias Stone stood still. He watched the red light grow. He knew what it meant. If that weapon fired, no one would escape. Not humans. Not humans. Not enemies. Only empty space would remain. Brain the truth about Phase 3. Stone turned to his senior officers. "Begin Phase 3, he said calmly. Everyone froze. One officer stepped forward. "Sir, Phase 3 will destroy half our fleet." Another whispered. And maybe you too. Stone nodded. I know. Silence filled the bridge. Phase 3 was not a weapon. It was not a shield. It was a sacrifice system. A final plan. A system that used human ships themselves as living energy networks. It connected all ships. Shared power. Shared damage. Shared life. If one ship failed, others would suffer. But together, they could create something impossible. Speech balloon a message to the fleet. Stone opened the main channel. All human ships connected. His face appeared everywhere. Calm. Tired. Strong. This is Captain Stone, he said. You all know what Phase 3 means. No one spoke. You may choose, he continued. No one is forced. If you leave now, I will understand. A pause. Seconds passed. Then, one voice answered. We stay. Another. We fight. Another. For Earth. For our families. For the fallen. Hundreds of voices joined. We stay. Stone closed his eyes. Thank you, he whispered. Link the human network. Phase 3 activated. Lights appeared between ships. Thin energy lines. Like spider webs. They connected everything. From small fighters to giant carriers. Power flowed. Heat spread. Pain was shared. When one ship shook, others felt it. When one engine burned, others slowed. The fleet became one body. One heart. One mind. Network stable. An officer said, energy rising dangerous level. Stone nodded. Hold it. Smiling face with Horn's enemy madness. On the enemy flagship, Lord Krexer laughed. The red light reflected in his eyes. Look at them, he said. They are glowing like dying stars. They know they will lose. His officers were nervous. Commander, our weapon is unstable. Core temperature rising. Time left, 60 seconds. Krexer raised his hand. Enough, he said. We finished this. Fire Omega weapon. Hourglass not done countdown to destruction. The Omega core screamed. Red crack spread. A giant energy sphere formed. Space bent around it. Time slowed. Gravity twisted. Everything was pulled toward it. Human ships struggled. Engines worked at maximum. Metal screamed. 50 seconds. 45. 40. On human bridges. Crews held on. Some cried. Some smiled. Some remembered home. Dove Stone's private moment. For a moment, Stone turned away from screens. He looked at a small photo near his chair. His wife. His daughter. Both gone. He touched it gently. I'm coming, he whispered. Then he turned back. Focus, he said. Phase 3 final stage. Glowing star, the core of humanity. At the center of the network, something formed. Not a weapon. Not a shield. A field. Made of shared energy. Shared memory. Shared will. It was called the Unity Core. A human invention. Powered by cooperation. By trust. By sacrifice. No single ship could create it. Only a united fleet. The core began to glow white. Not hot. Not cold. Pure. Strong. Astonished face enemy confusion. Enemy scanners failed. What is that? Unknown object forming. Energy level infinite? Krexer frowned. This is impossible. He felt fear. Real fear. For the first time in his life. Crossed swords, two powers face each other. Red. White. Fire. Light. Omega weapon. Unity core. They grew. Closer. Stronger. Space between them twisted. Stars disappeared. Reality itself bent. 30 seconds. 25. Human ships shook violently. Some lost connection. Some exploded. But the network held. Stone shouted, "Do not break. We are almost there." Broken Heart's sacrifice begins. A cruiser on the left side failed. Its core overheated. Captain, we're losing them. Stone saw the ship. He knew the crew. He knew their names. Transfer their energy, he ordered. Do not waste it. The cruiser exploded, but its power flowed into the core, becoming part of something greater. More ships followed, one by one, not wasted, not forgotten. Transformed. Fearful faced Krexer's doubt. Krexer watched. Human ships were dying, but growing stronger. How? He whispered. They lose, and yet they rise? An officer said quietly, They fight together, sir. They die together. Krexer felt cold. His empire was built on fear, on control, on power. Humans were different. They were built on connection. Water wave final seconds. 10 seconds. 9. 8. Omega weapon screamed. Unity core shined. 7. 6. Stone held his seat. 5. 4. Human fleet pushed all power. 3. 2. Stone closed his eyes. 1. Collision the clash. They met. Red and white collided. No sound. No explosion. Only light. Pure light. For 1 second, everything disappeared. No ships. No stars. No space. Only brightness. Then, darkness. Milky Way after the storm. Slowly, light returned. Stars appeared. Space healed. Debris floated. Silence returned. Where the Omega ship was, nothing. Gone. Where many human ships were, empty space. Gone. But, at the center, some ships remained. Damaged. Broken. Burned. But alive. Crying face counting the cost. On the flagship, systems restarted. Lights returned. Captain, we survived. Stone sat quietly. He looked older, tired, but alive. How many? He asked. 30% fleet loss. Silence. Stone nodded. Record every name, he said. They are heroes. Seedling hope rises. Enemy ships were drifting. No power. No order. No leader. Krexer's flagship was damaged. Engines dead. Weapons offline. He sat alone, staring at nothing. He had lost. Not to weapons, but to unity. Endero End Part 3. Cliffhanger. Human fleet was alive. Enemy fleet was broken. But the war was not over. New signals appeared. From deep space. Stronger. Unknown. Watching. Stone looked at the screen. His face became serious. Prepare, he said softly. This was only the beginning. The battlefield was quiet again. Not the quiet of peace. The quiet of loss. Broken ships floated slowly. Burned metal turned in space. Small lights blinked like weak stars. The Great War was over. But something was wrong. Too wrong. Milky Way strange signals. On the human flagship, screens slowly came back to life. Power returned. Systems restarted. Voices filled the bridge again. Navigation online. Life support stable. Communication restored. Captain Elias Stone sat in silence. He watched the empty space where hundreds of ships once were. Friends. Soldiers. Heroes. Gone. Long-range scan ready. An officer said. Stone nodded. Show me. A map appeared. At first, nothing unusual. Then, a small light blinked. Far away, outside known space. Captain, the officer whispered. That signal, it wasn't there before. Stone leaned forward. Zoom in. The light grew. It was not a star, not a planet, not a ship. It was moving, slow, careful, watching. Eye the watching eye. The signal changed shape. Sometimes round, sometimes long, sometimes invisible. It's hiding, another officer said, like it doesn't want to be seen. Stone felt cold. No, he replied. It wants us to see it. Silence. Why? Someone asked. Stone answered softly. Because it is not afraid. Warning enemy prisoner. In a damaged enemy cruiser, Lord Krexer was alive. Barely. Smoke filled the room. Lights were broken. He sat on the floor. His proud uniform burned. His empire destroyed. Human soldiers entered carefully. Weapons ready. One of them spoke. Lord Krexer, you are under arrest. Krexer laughed weakly. Arrest? He said. There will be nothing left to protect. They looked at him, confused. What do you mean? One asked. Krexer looked at space, at the strange light. They are coming, he whispered. Puzzle piece hidden history. Krexer was taken to the human flagship. He was injured, weak, but his eyes were sharp. Stone met him in a small room. Two enemies, face to face. You lost, Stone said. Yes, Crexer replied, but you will lose more. Stone frowned. Explain. Crexer took a breath. My empire was not first, he said. Not first to rule. Not first to fight. Not first to die. Stone listened. The galaxy had masters before us, Crexer continued. Beings older than stars. They sleep. They watch. When young races become strong, they return. Stone's heart slowed. What are they called? He asked. Crexer smiled sadly. We call them the Shadows. New Moon, the Shadow Race. They are not flesh, Crexer said. Not fully. They live between energy and matter. They do not build ships. They become ships. Stone felt uneasy. Why had we seen them? He asked. Because you were weak, Crexer replied. No offense. When races are weak, they're ignored. But when they unite, when they change space, when they break reality, Crexer looked at him. You did that. With your Unity core. You woke them. Satellite antenna message from the dark. Suddenly, alarms rang. Captain. Unknown transmission. The room shook slightly. Stone rushed to the bridge. A new signal filled the main screen. Not sound. Not words. Images. Feelings. Fear. Cold. Dark. Everyone felt it. A voice entered their minds. Not spoken. Felt. Young ones, you have crossed a line. Many officers fell to their knees. Some cried. Some screamed. Stone held his head, but he stayed standing. You have touched forbidden power. Now you will be tested. The signal ended. Silence returned. No one spoke. Fearful face panic spreads. On many ships, fear grew. They spoke in my head. I couldn't stop it. What are they? Are we already dead? Some crews wanted to run. Some wanted to surrender. Some wanted to fight. Confusion spread. Stone raised his voice. Enough. Everyone turned. We have faced death before, he said. We are still here. These shadows are not gods. They are enemies. And enemies can be stopped. Brain new mission. Stone called a meeting. All senior officers gathered. Holograms showed the strange signal. This thing is outside known space. Stone said, it is watching. It will not attack yet. Why? One officer asked. Because it is studying us. Stone replied. How we fight. How we think. How we unite. He pointed at the map. We go there. Shock. Sir, that is unknown space. No maps. No supply lines. Stone nodded. I know. But if we wait, they will come here. Silence. Then one officer said, we follow you. Others nodded. We are with you. Wrench rebuilding the fleet. Humans began repairs. Damaged ships were joined together. Broken parts were shared. Small fighters were rebuilt. Engineers worked day and night. No rest. No complaints. They remembered the fallen and worked harder. New weapons were tested. New shields improved. Unity systems upgraded. Not for war, for survival. Pensive faced Crexer's regret. In his cell, Crexer watched. He saw humans helping each other, sharing food, sharing tools, sharing hope. His empire never did that. It ruled by fear, by punishment, by lies. He whispered, if we were like them, maybe. But it was too late. Rocket journey into darkness. Weeks later, the fleet was ready. Smaller, but stronger. More united. More focused. Stone stood on the bridge. Set course, he ordered. Unknown sector. Engines started. Stars stretched. Space bent. The fleet entered darkness. No maps. No signals. No safety. Only courage. Milky Way inside shadow space. They arrived. Everything was wrong. Stars were dim. Colors were strange. Time felt slow. Sound sensors failed. Compasses spun. This place hates us, someone whispered. Stone agreed. Yes, he said. It does. Eyes first contact. Then they saw it. A giant structure. Not metal, not stone. Living energy, moving slowly, like a breathing mountain. Inside it, millions of lights. Eyes, watching. The Shadow Home, enemy of all. Endero and a Part 4 cliffhanger. The human fleet stopped. Before the unknown. Before the ancient power. Before their true test. Stone whispered, all ships prepare. History begins again. The human fleet floated in silence. Not peaceful. Not safe. The shadow structure loomed ahead. Massive. Alive. Watching. Energy pulsed like a heartbeat across the void. Captain Elias Stone stood on the bridge of the flagship. His face was calm. His eyes were tired. But fire burned inside him. This is it, he said softly. The final stand. Around him, officers and pilots readied themselves. No fear left, only determination. Milky Way, the shadows awakened. Sensors screamed warnings. The shadow structure moved. It shifted like liquid metal. Millions of glowing eyes focused on the human fleet. It was aware. Then a voice entered their minds. Not words, not sound, but feelings. You dare enter? You dare challenge. You are nothing, and yet you persist. Stone gritted his teeth. We persist, he whispered. We survive. We fight. Warning preparing the fleet. Stone turned to his officers. All ships ready Phase 4. Phase 4. The last protocol. Even riskier than Phase 3. It used the fleet itself as a living weapon against an enemy far beyond understanding. Captain, said Lieutenant Mara, this could destroy half our fleet, maybe more. Stone nodded. I know, but it is our only chance. Every ship synced. Every ship connected. Not just weapons. Not just shields. Every pilot's mind, every crew's will flowed together. The Unity network glowed stronger than ever. The fleet became one body. A living entity of hope, courage, and sacrifice. First contact. The shadow structure moved suddenly. A wave of energy struck the fleet. It was like gravity itself tried to crush them. Ships shook violently. Brace, shouted Stone. The human fleet held together. The Unity network bent the energy around them. Not completely, but enough to survive. Then the fleet struck. Not with missiles. Not with lasers. With the energy of Unity. A pulse of collective will shot forward. A beam of white-blue light. It struck the shadow structure. For a moment, nothing happened. Then cracks appeared. Tiny at first. Then wider. Then the structure roared. The eyes blinked. Millions of them. Angry. Watching. Learning. Fire the clash begins. The shadow structure lashed back. Energy beams ripped through space. Time seemed to warp. Gravity twisted. Ships floated upside down. Status. Stone shouted. Hull integrity dropping. 5 ships lost already. Engines failing. Navigation offline. Stone ignored it. Hull formation. Channel everything into the core. The fleet shone brighter. White light flowed through ships, connecting them like veins of pure energy. The structure faltered. It screamed, not in sound, but in force. It tried to overwhelm them. It tried to destroy their minds. It sent visions. Fear. Death. Loss. Stone closed his eyes. Hold it, he whispered. Focus on each other. Focus on humanity. Broken hearts, sacrifice, and heroism. The cost was terrible. Ships fell. Pilots gave their lives. Engine cores exploded in blinding fire. Lieutenant Mara piloted her fighter into the structure, exploding herself in a precise strike to weaken its core. Stone watched on the main screen. Thank you, Mara, he whispered. Another cruiser overloaded its reactor, sending a massive energy pulse directly into the shadow structure. The pulse strengthened the Unity network instead of breaking it. Amazingly, the sacrifice became power. Stone realized every death, every loss, fueled the weapon that would end this war. Brain the mind of the shadows. The structure reacted. It was not just a weapon. It was alive. It thought, how do they persist? How do they survive? Weak flesh, strong mind, united and will, impossible. It tried to adapt, morph, twist reality. But the humans were faster, stronger, smarter. Stone and his officers worked together. Every decision shared instantly. Every calculation perfect. Even with broken ships, the fleet acted as one. High voltage the turning point. After hours of battle, the shadow structure began to fracture. Red energy became unstable. White-blue pulses from the human fleet spread across its surface. Stone knew the final moment had come. He activated the last part of Phase 4. The Unity Core would amplify humanity itself. Not just ships, not just weapons. The fleet's shared will, hope, and courage became a weapon. The core glowed brighter than any star. A pulse shot toward the shadow structure. For 1 second, space froze. Time slowed. The entire fleet held its breath. Then, collision, the final strike. The Unity pulse hit the shadow structure. Energy exploded. Space itself seemed to tear apart. Red and black waves of destruction clashed with white-blue light. The structure screamed. Cracks ran across it. Millions of eyes blinked for the last time. Its massive body collapsed inward. A shock wave rippled across space. Enemy and human ships were thrown by the force. Some ships were destroyed. Many crews were lost. But the structure was gone. Nothing remained. Only silence. Milky Way aftermath. The human fleet drifted in quiet space. Broken. Damaged. But alive. Stone looked around. Pilots cheered weakly. Engineers hugged each other. Some cried. Some laughed. He turned to the bridge. "Record all names," he said softly. "They are the heroes of humanity." The cost was immense. But humanity had survived, not through weapons alone, not through firepower, through unity, through courage, through sacrifice. Crown legacy of the battle. Stone sent a message to Earth. The war is over. Humanity stands. We fought not just for survival, but for hope. Never forget the fallen. Never forget this day. The fleet began repairs. New leaders emerged. New heroes remembered. And far away, in dark space, tiny eyes blinked. The shadows had watched. They had learned. Stone didn't know it yet. But one day, they might return. End arrow closing scene. Captain Elias Stone stood alone on the bridge. He looked at the stars. We are small, but together, we are unstoppable. The human fleet flew home. The galaxy remembered. The legend of humanity had begun. The end.